Let's just follow up with that line of questioning, and I'll go to Mr. Glatt and Ms. Freeark. Are there communities that are drinking contaminated groundwater because they're not regulated appropriately, Mr. Glatt?
No.
Yeah, Ms. Freeark?
No.
I mean, this is just insane that we're sitting here talking about unregulated groundwater. I mean, no, that's not the case. So that was not my line of questioning. But I couldn't help but correct the record here. That is there a threat because of our regulatory posture, Mr. Glatt?
No, based on the state program, there is not a threat.
Talk to us about the expense, and you've touched on this today. But I want to get back to what will this rule do in terms of cost and then in terms of effectiveness?
As far as the baseline CCR rule and the state adopting that, I don't see that as being a whole lot. I think the concern is with the legacy rule of having to go back and look at landfills that were appropriately closed that do not pose a risk now. We have the concern that if we had to go back in and somebody saw the need to dig that back up, that would create a greater environmental hazard than what they have today.
Yeah, just we can't get around ourselves for making smart decisions on that. So, Ms. Freeark, let's go on the line of questioning on cost, and we know that they're going to be significant, and this. They estimated the cost would be at a minimum of $214 million per year, with only $53 million in benefits. That's the Biden administration, and this ultimately impacts the ability to provide energy to our communities. So you noted in your written testimony that Arizona Electric Power Cooperative is incurring significant expenses to comply with the legacy rule and its deadlines. And again, you've touched on this already today, but I want to make this point. Can you describe some of the major expenses that this rule has imposed, and do you think that these costs will produce commensurate benefits on the other side of it?
So far, as others have mentioned, there's a laundry list of things that we have to do under the legacy rule. So every single one of those steps incurs costs with outside professionals, qualified professional engineers, consultants to help. We're a rural co-op. We have a very small staff, so we don't have the bandwidth to perform it all ourselves, so we rely on those outside resources. So you're talking about contracting with ongoing support to do facility evaluation. And when we talk about the facility evaluation, it's of the entire site. We own 4,000 acres. So evaluation of the entire site where, we have the plant proper area, but you're looking at in the entire site, going back to historical records, any project, anywhere where you could have found that CCR materials may have been used. So that has taken us months and hundreds of thousands of dollars to get through. That report is not yet done. We're in the final completions of it, but then moving from there, then once you identify those new classes of units that they identified in the rule, then you will have to institute groundwater monitoring, public websites. There's just a laundry list, again, of items that would have to be included just to regulate something that, for instance, again, like our facility, we had closed-in-place ponds that we would have to look back, which is insane that you're going to look back. Those were closed in 2005, have not had an impact to groundwater, human health, and, we're not near any surface waters, so we have a really different geologic site condition with the risk, and if you measure the risk based on that, it's very different.
Thank you. Mr. Adams, some of my questions for you were already asked. I'll give you the last minute to tell the committee anything. Any follow-up statements that
Yeah, I think it's kind of interesting that we've spent a great deal of time today talking about disposal and disposal regulations and disposal impacts and all that kind of thing, and a lot less time talking about beneficial use and the things that are really benefiting not only the construction industry but society in general in terms of greenhouse gas reduction. We're taking materials out of landfills and ponds, returning those facilities to more palatable uses for parks and green spaces and things like that. We're doing a lot of good things through beneficial use, but we spent a heck of a lot more time today talking about things that have more to do with disposal and less about beneficial use than we hoped. But we'd like to come back and re-engage and talk more about beneficial use. Thank you.
I thank the witnesses, and I yield back.